Now, me personally, am I a fan of this? Absolutely not. And it's nothing against DJ Uiagalelei himself. I just don't like it. And this is the sad part about it. Normally in the comment section, you'll see people with mixed opinions, mixed feelings, mixed emotions. But with this one, no. I don't think anybody else likes it either. I've yet to see a single person support it. So let me ask you, what do you think about it? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you had a great week. Hope all of you having a great Friday. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. Man, oh man, we got to talk about a really, and I mean a really interesting situation that involves DJ Uiagalelei. When I first saw this news, my mouth dropped wide open, and that is rare for me to have a reaction when I'm looking at something on my phone, because most times when I'm texting my buddies, and come on now, you know you do this, you'll send someone LOL or the laughy face emoji, something like that, and you got less emotion than a brick. But I dropped my mouth when I saw this, and you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. That is going to be our main topic in today's video. Also got a couple other minor topics, including the man, the myth, the legend himself, Jimbo Fisher, has weighed in on NIL. Although Jimbo doesn't have too much credibility, I think he might be right on this. Couple other things we're going to talk about. Strap in, buckle up, get you a snack, get you a popcorn, get your favorite meal you like to eat and watch a video, because trust me, I do the same thing. But all right, Matt, blah, blah, shut the crap up. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, first things first, let's start out with this. This is the top like comment on the most recent video. If Alabama loses, Matt has to change his YouTube name to Matt B Diddy. So I see we still have the Diddy jokes going on in the comment section, and I guess it's amusing some of y'all. I said this before and I'm going to say it again. There's no way Alabama loses to Vanderbilt. There's no alternate reality or universe where that even happens. You got a better chance of hitting a hole-in-one on your first try than Vanderbilt does of beating this Alabama football team. It's not going to happen. However, if it somehow, someway does, yeah, I'll do that. Can't say this enough. It's not going to happen, so don't get your hopes up. Moving along here to, I guess you could call it the second topic, since we talked about that comment for just a second. Jimbo Fisher has somehow, someway found his way back into the news. We know who Jimbo Fisher is. He is one of the best, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, the best scam artist of all time. What he did is no different from pulling off a bank heist. Tell me I'm wrong. Convinced A&M to pay him a boatload of money, did an awful job, they fired him and had to pay him millions of dollars. I already forgot what his buyout was. It seems like that was forever ago, but wasn't it 85 million? Am I wrong on that? If I am, I do apologize, but 85 M's? That's insane. And the crazier part about it is, and different conversation for a different day, he got paid $85 million because he was terrible at his job. Think about it. Good gosh almighty. Being a college football head coach is a win-win. You do good, you get glory. You do bad, yeah, people are going to hate on you, but who cares? You're about to get paid. Anyways, I digress. Here's what he had to say about all the cheating and tampering going on in college football. Quote unquote, we need revenue sharing, we need a salary cap for all schools, and the other part of this, the tampering that other schools do with players, is utterly ridiculous. The big schools are going and getting players constantly from our schools, and it's being done illegally. Those guys are developing players. Let me show you this entire quote though, starting after illegally. Those guys are developing players, and all of a sudden they're guys, you know, that team shouldn't have an advantage financially to be able to take care of a guy that another school doesn't, and it's wrong. He also stated that he thought NIL would make college football more fair, but it turns out it made it worse. And his reasoning behind that is because he was stating teams before NIL were illegally tampering and recruiting and paying guys. But now, since it's legal, he thought everybody would be able to do it, and they are able to do it, but it's just a big crap show. We're not going to talk about this too much because it seems like we talk about NIL every single day, but here's my question to you. Is Jimbo Fisher wrong? I know you might not like the guy. I'm not a big fan of him either, but I think he hit the nail on the head here. I've been saying this forever. We need regulations, and what happens with those regulations? You get revenue sharing, you get salary cap, and etc., so on, so on. But as where it stands right now, there's nothing. If Tennessee wants to pay Nico Iamaleava $100 million, they can do so. If Alabama wants to pay a recruit $200 million, they can do so. In 10 years, I feel like we're going to look back on all this and say, how in the world was college football even functioning without any rules? I believe we are currently in the Wild West era of college football. I would love to talk about that some more, but we got to get a move on to the main topic, the main encore, the main reason you clicked onto this video. What in the world is going on with Uiagalelei? Great question, my friend. I'd love to answer. Grab you a seat, grab you some popcorn, because This is going to be interesting. I'm not going to give you the whole run through of Uiagalelei's career. We know it's led up until this point. I know we like to crack jokes on him, but in all seriousness, he hasn't been bad throughout his career. He's just been average, or some may say slightly below average. I will give him average. Try not to have recency bias just due to what he's done at Florida State. I'd argue and say at Florida State this year, he's been below average. But that's just me, and the season's not over quite just yet. I say all that to say this. DJ Uiagalelei, for those of you who don't know, he is not playing in their game this weekend against Clemson due to a hand injury. And there's been some speculations and rumors going around that this hand injury, finger injury, whatever you want to call it, it might be serious and he can miss the remainder of the season potentially. With that being said, I want you to think about something. Florida State not having a good season, so that also doesn't entice Uiagalelei to come back as quick as he can. With all that being said, there are serious talks going on that DJ Uiagalelei is looking at getting a medical red shirt for this season. Which means, and you know what I'm about to say next, and you know where I'm going with this, he would play another year of college football next season. And more than likely, he would also transfer because that's just what he does at this point. I don't know why Florida State would want him back. I can almost assure you if he doesn't want to leave Florida State, they'll force him out or just tell him straight up, yeah, you're going to be the backup. You may be sitting here wondering, well, Matt, how in the world is that even possible? Because he's already played in 5 games this year, and the NCAA states you can only play in 4 games to secure a red shirt. And yes, my friend, you're 100% correct. Like I said, I was thinking the same thing. However, there are exceptions, and the NCAA will overlook some things. According to the NCAA manual, here's one of their rules, and I quote, "An athlete may be granted an additional year of competition by the conference or the committee on student-athlete reinstatement for reasons of hardship." Which means, in other terms, and I'm trying to dumb this down in the simplest way possible so you guys can understand, DJ could send in a waiver request to the NCAA and say, hey, I know I passed the 4-game threshold, but in the 5th game, that's when I hurt my hand, so I was right at it. So there is a possibility. I'm not saying there's a great shot that's happening, but there is a possibility that Uiagalelei shuts it down for the remainder of this season and he petitions to the NCAA to give him another year eligibility. Now, me personally, am I a fan of this? Absolutely not. And it's nothing against DJ Uiagalelei himself. I just don't like it. I get it. He was trying to make the best decision for him, but this is something we've been talking about the past week or so, and it's dating back to the Matthew Sluga situation. These players, these college football players and athletes have found a loophole in the system. If you play 4 or less games, you can get a red shirt. And now, Uiagalelei, since he's gotten injured in his 5th game, he's like, well, maybe NCAA, if they're gracious enough, they'll give me another year. But the problem with that is, you know good and well, he could return back from this hand injury. But now it's been brought to his attention that he could get a medical red shirt. He's like, oh, well, maybe I should just rehab it for a couple extra months. And next thing you know, it's the end of the season. And he's going to have the argument to the NCAA of, oh, well, yeah, I had a season-ending injury, so can I get another year? And hey, don't hate the player, hate the game. I would try to do the same thing if I was in his shoes. I find this so bizarre because I thought this was the final and last year of Uiagalelei. I thought this was the last chapter, but if he gets another year, you know he's going to transfer elsewhere, and it's just going to be the same story, different school. And you could say the same thing about Cam Rising. I love what Cam Rising's about. He's a hard, physical player, fan favorite, but dude, we talk about Uiagalelei being old. Nah. Cam Rising old. That dude's pushing 35. Uiagalelei's pushing 25. Cam Rising? He's pushing 35. There's levels to this. I just remember last year everybody giving Bo Nix crap and Michael Penix Jr. crap because they were 25, but when are people going to start talking about old Cam Rising? And then, too, here's my next question. Why is that dude always hurt? It's not even like it's a major injury. It's always like, oh, yeah, it's pinky toes hurt. Now his fingernails hurt. Like, what are we doing? I'm not trying to downplay a man's injury. I was injury prone myself, but it's always something with this dude. And this is the sad part about it. Normally in the comment section, you'll see people with mixed opinions, mixed feelings, mixed emotions. But with this one, no. I don't think anybody else likes it either. I've yet to see a single person support it. So let me ask you, what do you think about it? Many more things I could say. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts on this down below. But